Hi, welcome to Matt Holman Golf. Thought I'd take a look at Phil Mickelson here, hitting some lob shots. Now, he's hitting two quite different types of lob shots here. On the right hand side he's off fluffy grass. He's actually really releasing the shaft, using the bounce a lot. On the left hand side here he's on links ground. I think this footage came from European Tour sort of challenge. You can see he's actually going to lob that ball over a cardboard cutout of himself, recreating some great footage on YouTube of him doing it actually, where he lobs the ball over his short game coach Dave Peltz. So, Mickelson's always known, one, for obviously being a great short game player, but a hinge and hold style short game. But in reality, the club shaft, the club head, the bounce, the loft have to work in a certain way off certain lies to create a type of shot. So as much as he talks about hinge and hold, so you're going to see definitely in this lob shot, there's plenty of hinge going up there, lots of wrist set which we'd expect to see. Ball position in this case is very much off his front toe. Camera angle was pretty decent here, but actually what you're going to see, he actually really releases the shaft. So at impact there, the shaft is straight up and down, which would be an ideal, but he's really using the bounce there. There's no sense that he's holding the club shaft. Now look how quickly the club head and the club shaft passes his hands there. And you can see, one, he's really kept the loft on the club, exactly what we're looking for, but there's no sense of holding an angle there, because, we can't use the bounce if the angle's held. So as much as he often talks about hinge and hold, in reality, if you stop him at impact, the shaft is working a very similar way to players. If we said someone like Donald that talks about releasing the shaft, they're going to look very similar at that point. And maybe in future reviews I'll compare some different styled short games, but we're going to look at them through impacts, and I think you'll see them all becoming very similar, because often Mickelson will return to that position there we see where the shaft's up and down, and then he'll go ahead and lean the shaft or keep the hands leading more, so it will give the impression through here, the club shaft will be back, that he's really held on to the shaft and he's really lent the shaft through impact, but he actually hasn't. He's come back, released the shaft back where the shaft's pretty much straight up and down, and then he's just held on. Other players let the club pass them more. But now on the left hand side here, he's playing a very different type of shot. The ground's very tight. He's going to really keep the loft on, but you can see how much he's lagging the shaft now, and he's really going to lean it actually, so you can see he's going to actually take a divot. So the camera angles obviously aren't ideal, but we can get the impression there. It's quite a difference. He is definitely hinging and holding there. You can see the big divot and how much the club face again has stayed open. But he needs some front edge now, so the club just doesn't bounce off the ground so much. And then that ball pretty much, I love this position here. Club face looking back at you. It's something Ian Poulter would work on in his lob shots, where we swing halfway through and we want the club face to look back at us. I know P.G.A guys, they'd often talk about if there was a mat, for instance, here, we want the face to line up with the sort of edge of the mat, which he'd be doing. Look how that ball shot straight up into the air.